Mr. Graf?
Hi, how are you? I've heard you say here today that your interest is special education students.
Yes, sir. I have a strong interest in that.
Okay. And you have, I think did you have relatives that teach special ed or people are involved with special ed?
Both.
Okay. But at the same time, you're sitting there and you're saying that you agree with the principles of Common Core. Now, with the testing, what happens is with the federal program, and we've put in for waivers, okay? They ignore IEPs for testing, and they're testing kids on their chronological age and not their developmental age. Okay, so if a student is, say, chronologically in 5th grade, developmentally in 2nd grade, they're trying to test them on a 5th grade level. And it seems like our answer has been, well, we'll give them another hour to take the test. With that in mind, okay, I mean, did you want to rethink your position on Common Core, right? And do you think it's fair that when they're sitting there and ignoring IEPs, not any fault of the state because we put in for the waivers, and they're ignoring the child's developmental level, do you think it's fair that you judge teachers by test scores, right, when they set them up in that scenario?
Fair question. Fair question. It has a two-level answer, gen ed and special ed. On special ed, I agree with you on the waivers, okay? On gen ed, it's a significantly different issue. Common Core has changed in New York State the percentage of kids scoring well. Now, a lot of parents don't like that because 3 and 4 kids have become 1 and 2 kids, and they don't like it. Well, that said, kids are still passing. There's no larger failure rates than before. What has happened because of Common Core, and the New York State Department of Education has accepted it, is that there has been a disaggregation of data, so there is a wider split between 1s and 4s. Back in the day, a 3 used to be 600 points. A 4 was only 9 points more. Someone couldn't use the data to say there's a difference between a 3 and a 4. You couldn't do that. Now you can. The value with gen ed for teacher evaluations in Common Core is that when that data does become better and we feel comfortable that there is a real split, not where everyone is so aggregated but disaggregated, we'll be able to see who the best teachers are, not to fail them, or not simply to just promote them, but for those teachers in the middle, train them. For those teachers at the top, identify them as the best teachers who should be considered to run the show. And the teachers at the bottom, whatever that percentage is, 1 or 5%, that number will pale in comparison to the attrition that occurs in teaching anyway. It's not 30, 40% over 5 years. No one wants to get rid of teachers because they're overwhelmingly qualified. But 1 to 5% is my estimation. Right. Might not be considered.
Well, correct me.
But I agree with you on the waivers for special ed.
See, I'm listening to you, and you told me that you talk to parents and stuff, and it just seems like you have an over-reliance on numbers and statistics. And what would you say to the parents? That my child is not a number. My child's not a statistic, okay? My child, the curriculum is being, because of this curriculum, they're being hurt. I have a child that went to school that used to love school, and now they come home crying. What would you say to that parent? I mean, kids are more than numbers. Right. Kids are more than statistics. Kids are more than charts. Right. Every kid is an individual, right. Okay, and every child has individual needs, right? We have so many problems facing education, whether it's socioeconomic, whether it's English as a second language, whether it's children that have a learning disability, all right, whether it's in the classroom, the instruction is so structured that teachers aren't allowed to teach. I mean, these are the issues that we're looking at. Mm-hmm. okay? Numbers don't give me that. You know, you can give me all the statistics in the world, all right? But what are you going to tell that parent when they turn around and tell you, my child's not a number? My child is an individual. My child has individual needs. What are you going to tell that parent?
Fair question. Fair question. I guess I see this as a dual role. I've got to talk to parents. I did that for 10 years. I still talk to parents. I also have to be able to talk to peers about what's going on in this big old system. So I have to do both. But when I did speak to parents, I would tell them, did your kid fail? Do they sometimes feel lousy about themselves? And the answers I get are, they didn't fail. Did they feel lousy about themselves? Yes. I would advocate that what this august board and the Regents might consider is stop with the craziness of every kid grade 3 through 8 getting a number score, but considering a pass-fail until we're comfortable about these numbers, because parents don't understand it, are frustrated, and kids feel lousy about themselves. It's an honest answer about how I've talked to parents.